Thank you very much, guys. Deuce McAllister knows a thing or two about putting numbers on the scoreboard from the Saints and in the record books. We got to get to that, but let's just talk about the fact that this football team under Sean Payton just continues to bounce back in prime time and at home, and from one of the toughest losses they've ever endured in the Sean Payton era.
Well, I think tonight was a statement game, and it was basically a statement to say we're still a pretty good football team. We didn't play well last week. We want to go out and particularly your own division. You got to be able to control your own division. I think that's what they were able, to make that statement and do. So it was impressive, to say the least. Because obviously, you see this team in a couple more weeks, but at the same time, it's so important to have this game.
I always like talking about running the football with you. Not a lot of that tonight, but a big play, and we just talked to Brees about it, was that Sproles 38-yard gain. After they punted and Carolina had the ball most of that first quarter, that really was a springboard for this offense.
Yeah, and I think it was not only a momentum setter, but I think it was, for them to go out and have that success, in the running game, whether it was Sproles or, even Pierre, what he was able to do. But it gave him that juice. And, you talk about, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but you look back at last week, we never had that one play to get us going, and that was that play to get us going, and from there, that offense is as dangerous as any.
Marques Colston, amazing. He has 2 touchdowns tonight. He had 2 touchdowns in his first 12 games. You could say, that's just this offense, but for him, it hasn't been the kind of year we're used to. When we saw Colston tonight, that's the kind of Colston we're used to.
Yeah, that's what we've come accustomed to, and you have to remember, Colston's been a little banged up. He's been banged up, so he's still feeling his way through, trying to get healthy. And you think, well, if he hadn't been healthy, who's been making plays? Well, that's where Jimmy Graham, goes off for over 1,000 yards and so many catches. And Drew has found just different players, and that's why it's important for these guys to get healthy and go on a run. Let me see you hit 6 games in a row. Let me see you hit 7 games in a row. And if they do that, that means they've qualified for the Super Bowl.
All right, let's talk about Drew Brees. I was telling him he gives us a challenge in the press box with all these records, and he's had quite a few, but the fastest quarterback ever to pass for 50,000 yards. How do you feel when you hear that?
Well, the injustice is we didn't have him his first 5 years here in New Orleans. He and Sean. But everything happens for a reason. The guy is just a prolific passer. He's a prolific, friend. He's a prolific player. He's always going to be one of the first guys in the locker room. He's always going to be one of the last guys to leave. I don't care if you're bowling footballs to knock over the pins in the end zone. He wants to win. And that's just the kind of competitor he is. And when I was with him, I used to always say, well, I want to know exactly what Drew knows. I want to know exactly as much as he knows, and at times I was right, but a lot of times I wasn't even close. So it's just tremendous how he prepares himself, how he goes about working, and he's a great quarterback in his prime. I'm just happy to have him as a teammate, call him a friend.
He'll be a all-pro. Well, let's talk about defense. We don't do that too much with you, but Cam Newton was the focus going in, but I think the Cam that had the better night was Cam Jordan, and he's over double-digit in sacks now. You think he'll be an all-pro?
All-pro. If he's not first team, he should be probably second or third team. I definitely think that he qualifies for the Pro Bowl. We hadn't had a Pro Bowl since Will Smith was in, and I think Junior Gillette is playing his way into that conversation. I think both of those guys, they do a great job of just being able to play the run, but get to the quarterback. And, anytime that you show up on the national televised game, that just gets your name out of there a little bit more. But what's impressive, what's key is for those guys to qualify for the playoffs, and, they help themselves one step closer tonight.
Final question. They're in the driver's seat right now, but 3 big games left, and then you have Carolina, oh, by the way, coming up in 2 weeks. How do you like where this football team is right now?
Like where they're at. St. Louis has always been a tough opponent for us, so you can't take them lightly. Regardless of what their record is, you can't let this team hang around. So you have to go out there and make a statement in the first quarter. Try to get 10, try to get 14 early. Because they have explosive young players all the way around. But you want to, kind of get their confidence away from them. And obviously, when you come back to play Carolina in a couple weeks, that's going to be a dogfight because they want to go out and prove that they belong. But you have to take it one step at a time and go enjoy this one tonight. But you got a good St. Louis team that always gives you a challenge when you play them there. That'll be looking to try to knock you off your perch.
All right, no doubt about it. Well, listen, once again, we appreciate your time, and we will see you down the road, my friend.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. All right, Saints tonight, the only post-game show with the New Orleans Saints with the best running back in franchise history and of course the best quarterback as well. Big night here at the Superdome. That's the wrap. From here, back to you guys in the Louisiana Cat Studios.